I'd like to introduce a father-daughter duo now. We have Michael and Eleanor Bailey. Eleanor relies on Medicaid for vital services, and she works at New Seasons and pays taxes into these benefits. Michael is the chairperson of the National Disability Rights Network, which, what was that, Michael, about?
It's the largest cross-disability advocacy organization in the world.
Which is the largest cross-disability advocacy group in the world. They understand the widespread need for vital services in our community, and this is Michael and Eleanor's testimony.
It's nice and warm.
Right there. Yep. Watch those people!
Okay, my name is Eleanor Bailey. I work at New Seasons. And New Seasons is an awesome store to work at. And I get paid as minimum wage of money. Everybody through Medicaid is allowed to be paid for the minimum wage. And I have no lie, we do not have Medicaid, but Medicaid wants people. And especially what I think about Medicaid, everybody's allowed to have Medicaid. Get a real job, pay jobs. And I'm just saying that people with adult disabilities should have a real job. And if we didn't have Medicaid, gee, by now I'll be staying at a donut shop. I'm just saying that Medicaid is there to be used and be paid, even if you have a disability or not.
Medicaid for all.
And especially, a lot of people, or especially if you work at a workplace, like Project Grow, that is through Medicaid. And especially if you have a job developer to hire, to help you find a job. They're there to help you. They're there to help you to find a job of your interest. For people to help other people for the job. And that's what they're there for, people. And that's it.
Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Michael Bailey. I live here in Portland. That was my daughter. But I am president of the National Disability Rights Network in Washington, D.C. We run 57 nonprofit law offices in every state, territory, and a Native American program out of New Mexico, doing legally based advocacy for people with disabilities. In part of my official capacity in that job, a week ago today, I sat in the gallery of the United States Senate. I sat in the gallery of the United States Senate a week ago today.
Good job.
And I watched 36 Republican senators literally step over the 89-year-old disabled World War II veteran, Bob Dole, who had come from Walter Reed to help us support the International Treaty on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. All but 2 of the Senate Republicans voted no on a cockamamie theory. I am mentioning this to you because you cannot underestimate how evil those people are. They will go over the fiscal cliff. they will destroy the safety net in our country. My organization represents literally millions of seniors and Americans with disabilities. Their Medicaid frequently pays a few hours a day of in-home support that enables them to stay in their own homes, where they have pride, where they have dignity. For a few $100s a month, they are able to live in the community as honored members of our country. If you eliminate that small contribution to Medicaid, unless it is become our national policy to let our seniors die and to let our disabled citizens die, they have to be somewhere. And I'll tell you where they're going to be. They're going to be in for-profit nursing homes that are paid for by Medicaid.
That's right.
Not only is that an inhumane public policy, but it is voodoo economics if there ever was one. We are in a serious crisis. Everything that we have come to believe in and rely upon is on the table right now in Washington, D.C. I just want to end by thanking you all for your good intentions, for your hard work, for your courage, for your leadership and perseverance. And we will prevail as we have always prevailed. Free our people. Thank you. Keep fighting.
I'd like to introduce Steve Weiss, who's a community advocate and activist. Among other affiliations, he's currently board president of the Oregon State Council for Retired Citizens and chair of the Elders in Action Commission. He's also a recipient of supplemental security income, Medicare, Medicaid, and through Oregon Health Plan. This is Steve Weiss.
I just hold this?
Yep, and you just push that button right where my finger is.
Oh, okay.
But without my hand.
Okay. Oh, right. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay. There are approximately 48 million people on Medicare and 59 million on Medicaid, and more coming as a result of the Affordable Care Act's extending Medicaid to millions more people. These programs have to be preserved. They cannot be cut. Now, a few days ago, Robert Reich, former Secretary of Labor under the Clinton administration, sent out a very interesting article, 8 Principles to Guide Democrats in the Fiscal Cliff Showdown. They're pretty good for everybody, and I kind of want to go over them if I can. 1, hold your ground. The wealthy have to pay their fair share of taxes. Yay! 2, no deal is better than a bad deal. Yay! This deal doesn't have to be consummated by the end of the year. It can go into the first or second week in January when we have a much better Congress. Yeah! 3, make Republicans vote on extending the tax cuts just for the middle class. Yes! 4, demand higher tax rates on the wealthy, not just limits on deductions. Yes! 5, don't cut safety nets. Don't sacrifice Medicare or Social Security or Medicaid or SSI or other programs for the poor. Americans depend on these safety nets and can't afford any benefit cuts. Yes! 6, don't cut investments in our future productivity. Education, basic R&D, and infrastructure aren't spending their investments in our future prosperity. Yes. 7, cut spending on military and corporate welfare. And finally, 8, put jobs before deficit reduction. So I couldn't say it any better. I want to thank all of you for coming out here tonight, and hopefully we'll get Congress and the President to do the right thing.
I'd like to introduce Graham Traynor, who's the political director of the Oregon AFL-CIO, who's going to tell us what we can do.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. There are hundreds of events happening like this around the country today with one clear message to Congress. Regardless of the current talks about the fiscal cliff, don't even think about cutting our Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid benefits. The labor movement and our progressive allies have never been more resolute or clear about our message. We've heard some individual stories tonight about the value of these vital safety nets.
They can't hear you.
Okay, sorry. How's that? I was trying to see. I want to see everyone. So you've heard a lot about some individual stories about how these vital safety net programs impact real lives. And I want to talk a little bit about what these programs mean to all of us right here in Oregon. Did you know that over 700,000 Oregonians receive monthly Social Security checks? About 600,000 Oregonians get their health care coverage from Medicare. Nearly 600,000 Oregonians also get their health care coverage from Medicaid. And that includes about 300,000 children and 55,000 seniors. These programs combined deliver over $18 billion per year into Oregon's economy. These programs are at the core of what much of the progressive movement is all about, providing a strong social safety net, giving the most vulnerable in our communities some dignity and respect, and providing an example of really being in it together. Clearly, there are some in Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, that think these programs should be used as bargaining chips to help us avoid this looming fiscal cliff at the end of the year. There's also a lot of talk about raising taxes on the wealthy, which absolutely and must be part of the package. However, raising taxes on the wealthy while cutting the services that we depend on doesn't do a darn thing to help working people get ahead, does it? And what we're being offered by these folks is a bad deal. And we need to ensure that Oregonians don't get caught up as bargaining chips in a bad deal like that. And we also can't let falling off the fiscal cliff scare us. Nothing that happens on January 1st, as painful as it could be, would have such long-lasting negative effects as permanently cutting into services that keep families afloat.
That's right.
We have to ensure that our elected leaders, just like Senator Wyden and Congressman Schrader, remember this and don't buy into a deal because they think it's the only option. It's not the only option. The AFL-CIO has put other options on the table with congressional leadership. It's not the only option. And we all know that the election just ended here in Oregon for us. And working in middle-class Oregonians, we did okay. Yeah. But our work is clearly not over, and it's really never over, folks. A corporate agenda had been in motion for many months before the election even took place to fix the debt by permanently cutting into our vital safety net. But we didn't stop on Election Day. Hundreds of events happened just a few days after the election to draw our line in the sand. Senator Wyden and Congressman Schrader need to be reminded of where that line really is.
That's right.
Open your veil, Ron.
Okay, folks, you all should have a blue piece of paper. Now comes the fun part. Does everybody have a blue piece of paper about action? If you don't have one, raise your hand. And volunteers will bring it to you. Okay. Please, so using the sheet that you will have soon if you don't have already. Okay, please call our targeted members of Congress, in particular Senator Wyden and Congressman Schrader, and leave a message with that directive, that very directive that I just spoke about. You can also call our dear friend Senator Merkley and thank him for standing with working Oregonians and protecting our vital services. So I wanted to take a moment. I think there was someone that had shown some interest in sharing a little bit of a story, just with 1 minute to really spare, about the impacts that these cuts might have. Is that person around? Okay. Well, I just wanted to thank everyone, thank people for joining us, and our partners, of course, Jobs with Justice, Oregon Action, Northwest Oregon Labor Council, and Working America for this National Day of Action. Despite the upcoming holiday season, our work is still not complete after this Candlelight Vigil. And we'll be continuing to pressure our targeted members of Congress to do the right thing as the year comes to a close. So please stay tuned on our website for further action and pressure that we'll be up to here in the final days of December. And I want to leave with a really, really quick chant. This is a Candlelight Vigil, so it's not necessarily a rah-rah. But I do want to do a quick chant, and it's very, very simple. No bad deal. 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 Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
So we had one person who did want to say a few words. Also, we have a couple of missing clipboards out there, so if you've got a clipboard for like sign-in, could you wave it in the air? Thank you. I'm just going to grab it from you right now. If you could pass that up. We'll start that. Okay, great. Come on up.
Okay, I'd like to shoot. Okay.
I don't think we got everyone signed in, but I gave it a good job. Thank you, Bill.
Is it on?
Yep, just
Hi. Hi. Not used to this. Hi, my name's Alice Redding. I'm a home care provider.
Yeah.
And my let's see how many home care providers we have here. Raise your hands proudly.
All right.
With Medicare, our clients are on Medicare and Medicaid. And without that, they would not survive. They would be in nursing homes. So we need to keep Medicare and Medicaid and budget cuts. We can't afford to stop budget cuts, can we?
No.
These people deserve to have dignity. They deserve to be able to live. Without these services, they can't live. And us home care providers work hard to make sure they stay in their home. And that's where we need them. But they can't survive if they can't pay their bills and they can't pay their expenses. So let's say no to cuts. We don't need them. Cuts. We don't need them. To cuts. We don't need them. Help our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice Redding. Is there anybody else who wanted to say anything? I'll just, for 1 minute, since we have a little time. Okay, what was your name?
Bruce Cushman. Hello there. I represent no one. I'm just a citizen. I just turned 60, so I don't get Social Security yet. I'm looking forward to getting Social Security someday. But I wanted to just remind everyone that Social Security is not an entitlement. It is a program that we've paid for all of our lives. Matter of fact, when I was young, while I was waiting to go to Vietnam, they doubled the Social Security tax so we could pay for the baby boomers.
Right.
So here we are, and that's about all I wanted to say.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bruce. So Peter was just going to lead us in a little song to enjoy ending our evening. If folks know "We Shall Not Be Moved," Steve's going to lead us off. Sing along. Sing it if you know it.
I think you do. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved.
Health care is a human right.
Health care is a human right. We shall not be moved. Health care is a human right. We shall not be moved like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved.
We're fighting for our future.
Fighting for our future, we shall not be moved. Fighting for our future, we shall not be moved.
We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved.
We're fighting for our seniors.
Fighting for our seniors. We shall not be moved. Fighting for our seniors. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved.
Fighting for justice.
Fighting for justice. We shall not be moved. Fighting for justice. We shall not be moved. Like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved.
Thank you for coming out.
Get to make your phone calls. It only works if we call them.
How you doing?
Good.
It's pretty reasonable.
No, yeah, okay, I know, it's mini.
Because, yeah. Hey, Joe.
So, Nike planning to bring to expand that.